hello, hello, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, this is In My Experience, and I'm Piperlyne.
And I'm Sonya Lee, and we are living Mercury Retrograde.
Count them, two eclipses in the past 2 weeks. And
double the fun.
Double the pleasure. Wait, where is that?
Right?
Okay. Yeah, so I'm feeling like goo.
Yeah, we were talking about
goo.
Goo, like inside when the caterpillar becomes, before the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. So you're not the only one that can talk. Literally, I put a meme up this week that I created. I don't do that very often, but I finally did. And it was, I have blamed so much shit on Mercury retrograde this week that I have given it a complex. Not even joking.
I did. I saw that meme.
Because it's been just that delightful.
It's been a thing.
She's talking about deconstruction or deconstructing.
Oh my God, everything.
Or deconstructed.
I do feel deconstructed. I feel like I am the goo. Yes. It's interesting. That is what's coming up for me, is deconstructing, letting go, revisiting,
tearing it down,
not revisiting, just setting it on fire.
It's demo day. Well, demo week, maybe demo year,
demo month,
I don't know,
something.
So we had a new moon solar eclipse on Wednesday, the 10th. What's today?
Yes, it was the 10th.
No, 9th to the 10th.
Yeah,
yes.
It started on the 9th.
Yeah, depending on what part of the world you were in. Some had it the 9th, some had it the 10th. We didn't get to see it here in Northern America because it was too early in the morning. And some people might have in New York, but maybe.
It just so happened to be exactly conjunct the Mercury retrograde. Too. So if you're in our In My Experience community, deconstructed with some numbers and so on, exactly where it was sitting to help you take a look how it was affecting your natal chart.
Right.
So you can take a look too.
19 degrees, wasn't it?
19 degrees. Gemini is where it all went down. So anything in your chart, any planet or point like ascendant or midheaven or Chiron, that is between 18 to 20 is going to be affected.
And the mutable signs. So Gemini, Scorpio, Pisces, Virgo.
Scorpio's fixed.
Oh, sorry. Gemini, Sagittarius.
There you go.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
sorry.
Gemini is opposite Sagittarius.
Yes.
Sorry.
Gemini, Sagittarius.
You're right, because Taurus is fixed and it's Taurus, Scorpio. So Pisces, Virgo. So those mutable planets are the ones that are getting the most bang for their buck, if you will. And they'll just, dissolve into it. Because that's what mutable signs do.
Yeah, because if you've got something in the mutable sign, it's going to be either square or opposition.
Yeah.
To what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
I'm conjunct, squared, opposite. It's everywhere, man. Yeah. It's everywhere for me right now. And the spotlight, because that's what eclipses are, spotlights, is, beaming down on me this week. It's been so very interesting because I haven't been able to sleep very well, and yet at the same time, I feel completely lost and totally serene, which really makes good, but makes no sense at all. My waistline is expanding. Thank you, Jupiter and Pisces. And I'm exhausted, but I can't sleep.
Yes.
So,
I resemble that.
Mutability, right? I could go comme ci, comme ça, as the French say. I could go this way, I could go that way.
Or I could just do all of them.
Or none of them.
Yeah.
And that, doesn't give you a lot to work with. In these energies of, look, pay attention, right here. No, not there.
Over here.
Check your shadow. And then go slow, because we've got some planets in retrograde. But everything's being expanded.
Right now, fast, hurry.
And you must do it, because Saturn's watching. And I don't know about you. I'm feeling a little betwixt in between. And again, like I said, strangely okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like I have purpose, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, that's good. That yes.
That's kind of where I am.
Mm-hmm. So I have this great deck that I picked up. We talked about it before, I think, maybe. Anyway, it's called the Sacred Rebels Oracle Deck. And
we'll include a link.
Yeah. And it's really, and I haven't bought an Oracle deck in a while, but this one was really good. And so I pulled a couple of cards for the eclipse and got some really loving, yummy messages. And then before we did started our podcast while we were chatting, as you know we do, I pulled a couple more cards. And I was only going to get one or maybe two. Well, we ended up with 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about this because we found that these cards actually spoke pretty well to some of the things that might be relatable to this eclipse season, to this retrograde energy, to, we got Mars in Cancer getting ready to move into Leo. We got the Sun in Gemini. So there's just a whole lot of, it's a soup.
Well,
it's a goulash.
There's this sense that even if you have experienced some change or there has been forward movement for you, there's a sense of like something isn't complete. Mm-hmm. Like there's still something, whether you can literally point your figure to a 3D physical manifestation of something,
right?
Or there's just a sense of it, we're moving, where things are happening, but we're not complete.
Right. Did I remember to turn off my straightener before I left the house?
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I never leave the house. So I'm like, I don't have those days anymore. I was going to say because I don't do my hair.
But it's kind of like that, though, right? Like you could walk out the door and then you're like, did I close the garage door when I pulled out of the driveway? Mm-hmm. Like I know I do it. I did it. I probably did.
And 95% of the time, 98% of the time I have. But there's still that 2%. Out of the 100 times that I've had to go back to the house to see
that the drawer was indeed closed,
right, or the the hair thing was turned off or whatever. 98% I did do it, but there's that 2%. You're like,
so I kind of think I know my purpose in life. I'm still not quite sure that I know who I am.
Yes.
So then, is this really my purpose?
I don't know.
And who do I ask?
I don't know. I'm deconstructing. I'm
right?
in goo now. I'm in goo.
It can be really confusing. And in some cases, we've talked about this too, downright frustrating or even irritating to be in this space right now. It is the ultimate surrender, but pay attention.
Right.
Because this will be on the test later. Right? Enjoy the movie, but make sure you're paying attention.
And make decisions.
Yes.
But you may not know everything yet. Or you probably don't.
And will most likely have to change.
And when you find out, well then,
Yes. Shift and adjust.
Right.
But don't get too comfortable.
Right. I mean, I've been sitting in a place where there's this vision that I have been manifesting, and I have been on it. I feel it. I know it's happening. Closer. And then this past week, I've just been like, what the fuck? Where did it go? What happened? Nothing happened, and there's still a sense that it is occurring, but I really feel like it's being shifted.
So one of the cards that we pulled was a card called Spirals of Manifestation.
Yes.
And it really speaks distinctly to
this experience.
Some of the examples we used when we were reading and talking about the card is like, when you're going up, climbing up a mountain, or going down a mountain, trying to get to a little town, and you're going around, and you just can't see. You don't know where, where is it? Where's the town? And then all of a sudden you finally get around one more bend, and then boom, there it is. You can see it.
Right.
It's a town. It's a sunset. It's the
lake you've been waiting. It's the ocean.
Right. And it was just around that next bend. Right. And you were so close to it. You didn't know how close you were to it.
Right.
And that's eclipse energy. In a nutshell.
Yeah.
One of the things it talks about is how amazing it is when what you've been dreaming falls into place. When something that you've been, wishing for or working towards or working on all of a sudden just plonks into your reality. And I can attest to that too. I've had things that I have been asking for some years, and now they are showing up, like just literally plonking.
Well, yeah, this week with what came out of nowhere for me.
Yes.
Hello.
And to think I couldn't have in a million years known that is how that it would have come about.
Not even close.
Like of all the things I thought about, and I'm a big thinker.
Yes.
I can go a lot of different directions.
Absolutely.
Not. We
I
could do this, or we could do this, or it could be that, or we could do this or that. I can give you 15 different food choices for if you want to go out to eat somewhere. Okay? I can do that.
And the thing
Still didn't see this one coming.
No. And I participated in it for my specific experience, right? I participated in it. They're like, okay, we need some information from you. Okay, I'll give it to you. Okay, we need this. Okay. And then nothing. And I'm like, well, I don't even know.
Right. Maybe this isn't going to happen.
Okay, so
why did I do that?
I guess I'm done.
Yes.
Because I didn't think I was going to get it. And now I got it. No, now it was offered to me again. This was money, by the way. It was offered to me again.
Which is always a nice thing to have, just plunk.
It is, absolutely. And then they're like, okay, so now maybe you can have it. No, you can't have it because it's the wrong information. And then we're going radio silent and you can't know anything at all.
Yeah. And then you wake up one day and your bank account is flush.
Yes. And you're, thank you.
Yeah, right?
Thank you. But that is the energy of, that is
the spirals of manifestation.
Right. It goes around and comes around and you're goo and you have no idea and you don't have any control.
No.
I mean, I participated, so it wasn't completely out of the blue, but I had zero control over what occurred.
And we talked about how it could be like a merry-go-round too, right? So you could have been upset because you missed your opportunity, to step onto the merry-go-round.
Right.
But it's okay because it came back around again.
Right.
And so, without you even knowing, you surrendered.
Yes. Absolutely, I did.
And then it was okay. And I've had situations similar myself this week where I'm just like, well, I don't know how this is going to work because we've kind of hit a wall here. And then, go do something else and then, come back a day later and, I guess we're on again. Okay.
Right, and there's another situation.
I don't even know what to say.
I'm moving along and all of a sudden there's a wall.
Yeah.
And then there's another wall.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in a different situation that I've been working on in my life. I've hit a wall and I've reached out to other people that I've been working with saying, where are we with this? What's the next step? What do we need to do? And once again, radio silence. So now I'm just like, okay, so I will just sit here with it because I have done what I can.
Yes.
And there's literally nothing else that I can do. Except for beat my head against the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get angry at people, but that's not going to it doesn't change what the situation is, because the people that I would get angry with don't have like actual any ability to change the situation. Right. They're in it with me.
Nor does getting upset with yourself help anything.
Well, no.
Because
I can do what I can do.
Which is, the other card we got, which was following your own rhythm.
Right.
And learning to trust and know that your rhythm is okay for you to be you and not like anyone else or follow anyone else's flow.
Right.
Because it's you that you're supposed to be, not someone or something else.
Right.
Which I thought, that's lovely. And
it is your energy.
And you're the best
life,
you.
It is your experience.
Right.
And you're the only one who can do it.
You're the best one to do it.
Right.
For you. And to bring you into the collective.
See, and it's really easy. I know it's really easy because I've done it. So there we go. It's really easy to sit in this space and going, what have I done wrong?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Be totally like, what am I doing wrong? Because we like to do that.
Sure.
We like to look at how I can fix this, or maybe not even fix, just how I can beat myself over the head and shoulders with something that I did wrong.
Right. Or what is wrong with this and how can I fix it?
Right.
And then, so it's not even anything that you've done wrong. It's just something that you see as wrong and you want to take the initiative to correct the wrong, except that it might not be right for you to do that.
Because it's not wrong.
It's just not in your rhythm.
Right.
Right? And that's okay, because by following your own rhythm means that there may be some rhythms that you don't want to follow.
Or you can't. Because other people may be in that space and following that rhythm. Correct. Other people may expect you to because you're supposed to. Why, whatever rules are set up as supposed to.
Welcome to the invention of the word should.
Shoulding all over yourself. And it's a balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a balance too. It's really being in that space. Sonya and I talked a lot about it a couple of months ago, talked a lot about self-inquiry.
Yes.
And I think it comes into being now too. Being able to sit with ourselves and really dive deep into, okay, so this is going on. So what is mine?
Yes.
What do I own in it? What do I have control over? What can I do? What am I willing to do? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, my favorite question, does any of that matter?
I'm going to start with that one moving forward.
I'm like sweating
rather than
now.
Ending, right? Because that seems to me because if it doesn't matter, I can save myself all the work of everything else.
Yeah.
And that makes me think about not only from a personal, but also from a global and galactic, possibly. I can't speak for the galaxy, but I can speak globally. Mm-hmm. When we are either not going to the rhythm, our own rhythm, or we're expecting others to go to our rhythm when they need to go to their own rhythm, right. Then we are going from being mutable and fluid to being fixed and closed. And that, I think, too, in this reading that we got, gave us something to chew on. Because we can see examples of that, and it can frustrate. Why aren't we there yet?
Just the look on her face and the energy. I know you heard it in the word too. Frustrate. She was like looking through her library of words to find the correct one, and she chose the correct one. So I agree. I just hats off. Yeah. It was beautiful.
And so, how do we? Or is this something else for us to look at? Maybe we don't have, again, what was that last question you just said?
Does it matter?
Does it matter? Does it matter that someone doesn't think the way that you think, or believe the way that you believe?
Right.
Or vote the way that you vote? Or live the way that you live?
Or, in my case, also this week, see you as you see yourself.
Right. So, there is this lovely opportunity for all of us to just deal with ourselves.
Right.
Like, they're asking us to defend what is worthwhile. That was one of the cards.
Yes.
Defend to the end the worthwhile.
Right.
And what is more worthwhile than the legacy of light, which was our last card? And that legacy of light is within you.
Right.
So I feel like I'm beating myself out of a paper bag here. And what the eclipse is showing me, by shining the light and taking me out of the darkness, is I'm inside a paper bag. You know, maybe I need to not struggle so much. Or maybe I need to just tear it open. But here's the thing, without having enough information, if I'm suspended from air and I rip the bag open, I'm likely to fall to my death.
That's an unpleasant thought.
Right? Or, because maybe that bag is what's keeping me safe.
True.
Or maybe the bag is keeping me trapped, like the Eight of Swords, and what I need to recognize is that it's just a paper bag, and if you can't tear your way out of a paper bag, lick it. It'll soften, and then you can poke a hole.
What I will say that we are being called upon to find alternative ways. The whole idea that things are changing. We have decisions to make, but with this eclipse right on top of Mercury retrograde, that tells us right then and there we don't have all of the information.
Ding, ding, ding.
And yet we still have to deal with this energy.
Yeah.
And so that can cause us to spiral out of control and blame everyone around us and lose our minds and get angry and I don't know. What do you do when you're angry?
Right. Lash out.
There you go.
Or completely shut her down.
Yeah.
Close the shutters. Going inside. I'm hiding under my bed.
Right. And other than harming other people may not always be the best choice, or often is not the best choice.
I would say often. I'm going to go with often.
I'm a fan of do no harm when impossible.
You have to understand, though, this is our first lifetime where we subscribe to that. So
we embrace harm.
Yeah. In previous,
yes. We've talked about that. We should do a past life.
Oh, that would be so much fun. Next week. Okay.
Yes. Moving on. So outside of doing harm, I don't know what the right answer for you is. Maybe the right answer for you is to turn off all the lights and crawl into bed.
Sleep it off.
I've taken to my bed.
Yes.
Right?
Ooh.
Or maybe the answer is to sit in confusion. Or maybe the answer is to try something new. Or maybe the answer is to meditate. It goes back to your
own rhythm.
Flow.
Yeah.
There is not this whole idea of if you do this and this and this is what will happen to you. Say, as when it comes to growth or expansion or awareness or self-evolution or spiritual, I don't think that we're not there anymore. We're not there anymore.
No. I will say, though, much like in real estate, where you will do continuing education for as long as you have your license, and it is a process of lifelong learning. Because things change, markets change,
right?
All of that. I'm not even going to go into it. Because anything that's real estate related or mortgage related changes with times. And so we are lifelong learners on this planet. For as long as we're living, we're learning.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we're learning things to do or not do. Sometimes we're learning states to be or not be. Sometimes we're learning to observe. Sometimes we're learning to surrender. Sometimes we're learning to act. Sometimes we're learning to defend, to respond, to react.
To speak or not speak.
I mean, it is all a lifelong learning process. And so wherever you are, I think the key point of several of these cards was to understand very profoundly that you've got this.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't know what this is. Mm-hmm. Like it has given me comfort because when you think that, like you said, we go through these things and we learn and we grow, and then we think, okay, I'm learned and I'm growed, and then something happens, and then you go, oh no, that can't happen because I'm learned.
Right. Yeah, no.
And yeah,
right.
No.
Right. No.
And so maybe in this particular moment, there's a little more learning or a little more growing. But always within me lies the power, lies the potential. And that is always going to be positive. Mm-hmm. So even in the most negative of situations, I feel like what these cards were saying is that when you follow your own rhythm and you trust your own inner wisdom,
right,
and you honor and protect your own legacy of your light source, mm-hmm. then you continue to dance mm-hmm. with everything that is transpiring.
It is very much an internal,
so much more
focus as opposed to external. Mm-hmm. And so many people for so much of their lives look at what's going on outside of them and make choices based off of that.
Ourselves included. We're not throwing shade here.
No.
We're not going to tell you, but we could.
We have all been there.
We have, and we are all still there in a lot of ways.
And I think it's part of the. I've been doing a lot of reading and a lot of studying regarding trauma, and I think that. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Someone said something to me that I just was like, I just stopped. Where she said that this 3D dimension, so this life, this human experience, so much of it is trauma based, and perpetuated trauma, and that we don't, and it's become so ingrained in us that we don't even are aware of it.
Right.
And so, I mean, everyone can point to traumatic situations that have happened, but there's generational trauma, there is DNA trauma, and so when that is part of our lives, which it is for everyone at some level, then we make decisions that are outside of us because we are trying to protect, stop, whether it's ourselves or maybe it's someone else, right? I'm making a decision so you don't have to go through that trauma that I think we all have to go through or that we all have gone through.
Right.
And so that puts our decisions on something that is outside of us, which is inherently out of our control. And that's where I have been sitting with this, where the decisions have to come from deep within me, regardless of what is going on out there.
Right.
And that's hard for the majority of us for much of our life.
That's absolutely being in the rhythm of your own life experience.
Yes.
While you were talking, I was thinking, what if we replace the word trauma with the word trigger?
I think
And-
that, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and just take that to just a little bit higher perspective.
Mm-hmm.
In what if these traumas weren't really, because I believe and I've been told that it is never the desire of source to fracture a soul.
No.
So trauma can indeed fracture. I've done some soul retrieval for people that this has happened to.
Right.
So what if it wasn't supposed to be trauma? It was supposed to be a trigger. And by trigger, I mean catalyst for change. And we took it personally.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that it is a catalyst for change.
Negate trauma.
No.
Just,
I think it is a catalyst for change, but it gets stuck in our energy. Yeah. That's what the trauma is the stuckness that then gets handed down.
Right.
And alters and change. Do I think it's inherently supposed to be that way energetically or universally? No, I don't believe it is. Yeah. I don't believe it is. But I think that is where we are as humanity.
I think it's a stimulation. And a stimulation can be a cattle prod. Right? Yes. Or it could be, tickling, the nairs.
Right.
Right? Same.
Mm-hmm.
Really. Well, different outcomes. But yeah.
Right.
And again, all inherently our own individual experience.
True.
Done collectively. Right? And it's the subtleties that I think we all poop. We all do it differently. And by differently, I just mean differently.
In the whole entire scope of differently.
Yes. Individually. And I feel like with this eclipse energy, it really was allowing us, or forcing, depending on which way you want it. You could say force if that's, I'm going to use the word allow. Because to me, it feels like I gave them permission to show me this shit instead of they just shoved it down my throat. To just look at ourselves, look at our own shit.
Right.
It's uncomfortable and it's, frustrating and whatever else. And it's an opportunity.
Well, I mean, I have been asking for clarity in certain areas of my life and asking for.
But like this? Nah.
Well, this wasn't my first choice. If they could take me out to a lovely dinner and a glass of wine and just
tell me my hair looks nice.
Piperlyne, my darling.
Can we share some stuff with you?
So this is what it is. And they just wave their hand in front of me and I have clarity and peace.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I didn't sign up. I somehow that didn't occur on this round.
Something about boring, not listening. Got to get your attention because you kind of get lost in your own world.
Right.
Like when your kid's screaming at you and then finally you go, what?
And
I've been calling you for 10 minutes.
You're like, oh, were you talking?
Yeah, did you say something, sweetheart?
Yeah.
You never listen to me. Well, that's kind of... But see, we were talking about that too. I'm going back. Woo! It came up. Yay. Because I was thinking okay, we think about that with our children, right? When it's like, I'm changing my name. I'm no longer going to be called mom because I'm tired of hearing it 75,000 times in the course of a day. But then I think about those things that frustrate me as a human, and then I'm like, I wonder if we know that the angels got frustrated too, right? And there are some of them that don't even like us humans. Like they think that God was dumb for even inventing us. And I understand, I really do, but they don't care what I have to say because I'm one of them. I'm a human. At least they think I am down here because they don't recognize me because my wings are all hidden behind a skeleton. Uh-huh. But in any event, I think about that and I think, okay, so as above, so below, right? They have experienced frustration. They have experienced wars. I don't know if they said that. This is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. They have experienced. It brings me to this concept of transhumanism, which I don't understand a whole lot of. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if that's man becoming God or godlike, in that we are becoming less human, then what are we becoming more of if we're becoming less human? I don't know.
I've never heard that term.
Transhumanism? They've been talking about it a lot lately in some astrology things I follow, because there's some energy around that. It's like when I say human 3.0, right? I'm not quite exactly sure. I'm going to look up the meaning of the word while we're chatting.
Well, there you go.
But I feel like, some of this experience and frustration and questioning and surrender and all of that, sometimes it's just like, well, what the hell else am I going to do? Like, there's nothing else to do but this. So I guess I'll do this. Not that I'm happy about it at all, because I'm not. Right? And so it kind of gives me a little bit of comfort to know that other galactic beings have had this experience as well, at least as it's been written. And it could be total bullshit. But as it's been written, as I've come to understand it, galactic beings experience this too from time to time. So it's not just my own individual condition, and it's not just a human condition. It's just a life force experience that is in conjunction with the stars and the planets that move within us and around us.
Well, evolution requires that you leave something behind to move forward into something else, or you alter what was to become something else. I mean, that is what it is.
That is the new moon in Sagittarius.
So when we sit here and it goes back to being attached. And boy, we can be attached to a whole bunch of things that we're not aware we're attached to.
or not understand that that's an attachment. You can say I don't care, but you're attached to not caring. You could say that this is all malarkey, and you're attached to that belief.
Oh, absolutely.
Just saying.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
So then our attachments bring pain in what is just a natural process of evolution. It is just a natural process for all things. Evolution, transformation, birth, death, stars exploding, creating
worlds
black
colliding.
holes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever expanding universe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all evolution. And here I sit in my little Piperlyne body going, no, I don't agree to that. I'm not going to do that. And fight against the nature of who I am.
So looking at this,
that's challenging.
It is. And
it's difficult and painful and suffering.
And confusing.
Yeah.
Like this definition of transhumanism.
Yes, what'd you get?
So it's a philosophical movement, and the proponents of which advocate and predict the enhancement of the human condition by developing and making widely available sophisticated technologies able to greatly enhance longevity, mood, and cognitive abilities. And that's not what I was thinking transhumanism was at all. I was thinking transcending humanism, becoming more spiritual. They're talking about becoming more technological, which I think is a human construct.
I feel like I've seen something regarding, and I can't put my finger on it, but there's like this image that had to do with AI.
Right, and that's what they're talking about. Some
AI.
transhumanists believe that human beings may eventually be able to transform themselves into beings with abilities so greatly expanded from the current condition as to merit the label of post-human beings. But that's very left-brained. And in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, but I think there are some things out there that might support this opinion. If you don't have the balance of the two hemispheres, you are incomplete. So, you can be all left-brained, but look at how Spock suffered, and his friends, because he was left-brained all the time. right? It was only when he went, Wrath of Khan that he kind of became a little more emo. But
Emo.
Spock,
the first emo.
Not even close. But but at the same time, right? If to be too emotional or too human, too right brain, too creative, who's paying the bills, right? Who's doing the laundry? So, to me, the transhumanism is the being able to blend that right and that left hemisphere, and that now doesn't make you more, like, it doesn't require anything outside of you, like technology, to create that. It generates from inside of you,
right.
And that makes you post-human in the sense that you become, as we like to say, a spiritual being having the human experience.
Right. Well, there's this, I think we're seeing that there's this understanding when talking about divine feminine or divine masculine, we're not talking about man, woman.
Right.
We're not talking about gender.
Right.
We're not talking about your physical manifestations in your body. We're talking about a concept, a way of being, and how when they are functioning well, when they are functioning together, we are stronger and complete. And you can even take divine out of it if you want, but the concept of femininity and the concept of the feminine, not femininity because that's something different. The concept of the feminine, the concept of the masculine being expressed in human form is not male or female. Right. And that is the shift that we're seeing right now, currently playing in humanity. And I think that it's a needed one. And it's a process that brings us more intertwined and more interconnected and functioning more wholly. Yeah, so I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's, all that.
Yes.
From an eclipse and a new moon. And when Mercury's in retrograde, it's like, hey, pull back. Sit back. Get yourself a tea or a lemonade. Put your feet up. Think. Ponder about things. I had an aunt when I was growing up that whenever we would ask her a question, she would pause and look at us. And sometimes she'd reach out and touch us. But she wouldn't respond right away. Like, we had other aunts or mothers that, it was always a very quick no, or, not yet, or whatever, like, because there 12 other things going. But whenever you would talk to this particular aunt and ask her anything, she'd always pause and look at you before she responded. Sometimes she'd ask a question. I always got frustrated by that because I just wanted an answer, right? But one of the things that I realized, though, is as I've grown and learned more about myself and learned to make friends with, retrograding planets, is that sometimes a pause is necessary. It could be because maybe she was in another thought and she had to stop that thought so that she could then shift and take in what was asked of her and then respond. So maybe it was all about her. Maybe she just wasn't able to fly off the handle that quick. Or maybe it was to allow us to slow our roll as we're coming in there, right? Like a freight train barreling in on the train station, right? Pushing all the passengers back to the wall. Or maybe it was just because that was her southern nature. And, the southern way is often the slow way.
Right.
Mercury retrograde has helped me to appreciate a little bit more. Like, I think of her and then I think, okay, maybe there's something more here than just that quick response.
The pause can be absolutely pause to make sure you're present
Mm-hmm.
right now, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Pause to make so that the other person knows that they're heard.
Mm-hmm.
But the pause to make sure you're present is what resonates with me.
Yeah. And with fast-moving planets, that's kind of important.
Well, it
spin
can
off
be even
the
more
planets.
it can be even more challenging.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
Can be even more challenging.
Because there's not a lot of time here. So we
Right.
need you to stop and listen and be present so that you don't say something and then later, oh, maybe I should have thought about that for a minute.
Oh, look, I didn't have all the information, which is
Yeah.
what I just said.
Exactly.
Pause and be present.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, and my goodness knows I do not come even close to doing this all the time with my son, but damn it, I try really, really hard.
Yeah. Well, and think about it too. Like, it's in Gemini, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the twins, which means there's going to be two. So you're going to get some information, but that's not all the information because they're twins. So, it's like here in Arizona, if you find one scorpion, look for the other because they're always in pairs. And the same is true with this particular Mercury retrograde because in Gemini, it's, Mercury, it's exalted.
Right.
But that,
Oh, yeah,
but
it's home.
But it's still retrograde.
And it loves moving fast.
It does.
Loves moving fast. And so it naturally is in a place where it has stopped moving fast, which is not its normal nature.
Yeah.
Not its normal nature. And then the eclipse highlights it.
Yes, it does. And then Saturn says, what are you going to do about that? Collective, because that's retrograde back in Aquarius, which is saying, I want to rebel. Against what? I don't know. And then Jupiter's like, whatever, I'm ready to go big. I'm ready to, call up some people and throw a house party on this.
All of a sudden, I saw
Right?
house music.
Right?
I saw it. Yeah.
Jupiter likes to party. And in Pisces,
The party is I can't even say it right.
The party is
Ayahuasca is
altered
states of reality.
That's right. Because Neptune's there too. Neptune's like.
So we are really, truly in a place right now where we may even be questioning, is this even real? Right? I don't know about you, but I've heard some things going on in the world and I'd be like, is this...
I know.
Yes, I know that it's real in the fact that it factually occurred.
Right.
But there are things that that didn't factually occur.
Right.
And so how much of this is real?
Yeah. How can that be real?
How can that be real? And what do I do with that? And so once again, the only way to deal with it, honestly, is circle back around to the light within you.
Make sure you got all the information before you go out there. There's so many times I've caught myself running out the door and then realize I'm not wearing any pants. So let me go back in the house.
I hate it when that happens.
Before I show my ass.
I forgot to put my pants on.
Again, don't leave the house that much.
Damn it.
So,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been an interesting week for us if you can't tell. Because this is what's been going on inside our individual heads.
Yes.
And then we just said, okay, how are we going to talk about this? And we pulled some cards and it said, here you go, this is what you say. And there you go. Make some sense of it. Still don't know what the outcome is.
No, I do
We
really...
may not for 6 months to a year
That's
for
right.
most eclipses.
That's right. That's an eclipse. But I do really I have to say that thought of coming around the bend and seeing that I'm a very visual person, and that just really resonated with me as an actual physical experience I've had on this planet.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually felt that way, and you just come around and you see that view or that vision, and even if you still have a while to go, because that could happen, right? You turn and you make the bend and you see it, and you still have however long to go.
Right.
You've seen it. feel it and you know that you're moving there. And there's so much, for me, there's so much peace in that. But I'm not around that bend yet.
Correct.
Right? So I'm still in that place of, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
My granddaughter and I went to the mall on last Sunday.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
I've not gone to a mall and I don't even know.
It's the only place you can find a Build-A-Bear workshop.
Oh, yes.
And so we braved it. And, she was a trooper. And so was I.
Seriously. You both deserve a brownie after that.
We did. Actually, we got Dairy Queen. But anyway, but it was interesting because we couldn't find the place, and I was looking for a directory. She's telling me which way to go because she's been there before, but I don't trust 6-year-olds with directions. I just don't. Forgive me, but I don't. And so I'm going one way and she's wanting to go the other way. And then finally I win because I'm bigger and I can pull her. She can't pull me. And so we went, we looked at the directory and got our, where we were at, and then went the right direction to get to where we wanted to go. And as we were going, she kept saying, are we there yet? And I'm like, almost. And then we saw a store that she recognized, and she knew we were getting closer because she saw the Claire's, and then she saw the Wetzel's pretzels, and then she knew exactly where they were. It's right across from Claire's and next to Wetzel's pretzels. The problem was she was going the wrong way to go to those places.
Right.
So there was that experience. And then she had to go to the bathroom. And so we were in a department store at this point, and I said, where's your bathroom? And they're like, all the way down there, and then go to your left in the kids section, and you'll see it in the back. So I'm like, okay. So we're walking, and just like, we're trying to get there as fast as we can, and she's like, where is it? I really have to go. I said, I know. I can't get you there unless you want me to pick you up and carry you. We can't get there any faster than we can get there.
We're walking.
We're walking, and her shoes are slipping, and but she's just like, where is it? Right. Like urgency.
I must pee.
And we can feel like that sometimes in our spiraling manifestation.
Absolutely.
Where is it? Right? Mm-hmm. Because when you trust what you're feeling, and you trust that what you're feeling is true, then the heart and the brain go into this battle of, it's there, but I can't see it.
Right.
But it's coming. I don't know that. Right? Like they're like, the angel and the devil. They're going back and forth, right? And it's the chicken or the egg. Because you can't have one without the other. But which came first?
What's interesting for me, just if I'm going somewhere and I'm not sure I'm going or how far I need to go, I will more than often turn and give up and then try to get a map or whatever, figure out where I'm going, just to find out that I just needed to go another block further.
Oh wow.
I just needed to go another mile further.
Wow.
That's all. I've had that happen on a physical experience for me numerous times. Girlfriend, you just needed to go a little bit further.
But how do you know that?
Right.
Well, I sat on the 17 one time for 8 hours waiting for highway patrol to come help us, only to find when he picked us up that we were 1.25 miles from Sunset Point.
Right. Right.
But we didn't know that. We didn't want to get out and walk along a highway in the summertime. So we sat and waited. And then the cop told us we were lucky, because if he'd had a domestic, he wouldn't have seen us all night. We didn't know that.
Right.
So it can be a challenge to know what to do. But right now there's a car passing by, and its headlights are going to illuminate the path for you. You have to pay attention, be present, and look quick. If you have someone with you, tell them to focus to the left, and you'll focus to the right.
Oh my God, I've done that too.
Right?
Okay, you look on the left side of the street, I look on the right side of the street, and we'll let each other know when we see it.
I think about it when I'm driving and someone gives me a phone number, and I tell the person next to me, remember these first 3 numbers. And I'll remember the last 4.
Work together.
Right? Work together. So the universe is working with you right now through these aspects, these astrological aspects, to shine a temporary light on what is not visible. Pay attention. I'm paying attention. I'm also really trying hard, and I did use the word trying, to not make any decisions, determinations, or outcomes yet, because I don't have that information. I only have the information of what I got when the light was cast on the road for me to see, yes, the road continues into the darkness. Right? Not that, and right around the bend, you're going to find what you were looking for. Right? So you're not getting the whole picture here. Right. You're getting a glimpse. And you got a glimpse in the lunar eclipse. Right. Back in May. And we got a glimpse in the eclipse, was it last December?
There was an eclipse in December, yes.
And we'll get our final eclipse this December. Right. And that will be 4 passes, 4 hints. On most game shows, if you get 4 hints to answer the question, you're not getting any money.
Okay. You're down to like $25
right.
For that question.
Right? You got it right, but it cost you $100 every time you had to have another piece of the puzzle be revealed. So pay attention. I'm paying attention. I'm understanding that I don't have all the information right now. But if I go back to the other 2 points, we gave you those dates to go back, you just, type it in. And you can follow this back. You can go back and look at the last time we had a solar eclipse in Gemini, which I think was 2001, 2002. 2002. What was happening in your life in May of 2002?
I have no idea.
Right? I do. But that's just because that was kind of a big deal. I was finishing up my bachelor's degree, and I was working on getting pregnant. In fact, I quit taking the birth control like the first week of June.
Interesting.
And was pregnant by the 4th of July. So, okay, but what does that mean, really? I mean, I have no idea. I'm not having no babies. But maybe I'm going to give birth to something. Maybe these eclipses in Gemini are the seed planters for me. I don't know. Right? So this is what I geek out so much about astrology that I think is so cool, because you can go back and then you can also go forward, and then you can bring it all right here to the present moment, and you can see and get a glimpse of,
what your personal process is.
Right.
Because we are all on our own cycle, like we are on our own flow, what our personal process is, which we can only learn through experience and time, because it has to occur.
I read something so interesting today. It was like flow and grow. Isn't that beautiful? Flow and grow. I really liked that. I want to share, and again, this is, where's my book? Oh,
in your hand.
Atlanta Fairchild Sacred Rebels Oracle. I will put the link in there, but I want to share her healing process for this Spirals of Manifestation card, because I think it's a beautiful way to close this out. And I am making this one of my mantras that I like to do. So it says, say, spirals of creation, spirals of light, you bring my manifestation to life. I trust in your wisdom and in your grace. Help me be wise and keep the faith. Repeat as needed. So that's what I'm planning to do. I don't know what your plans are. Maybe you don't have a plan. Maybe you don't have a clue. Been there too. See, we're more alike than we are different.
Yes.
And that is something that I feel worthwhile, and I will defend to the end. That fierce and unconditional unconditional love that we, all of us, myself included, have the deep, deep capacity to share with ourselves and with each other.
Lovely.
So until next week.
Thank you, Sonya. That was nice.
Follow your own rhythm through the spirals of manifestation. Defend to the end the worthwhile, which you may find is your own legacy of life. And until next week, I'm Sonya Lee.
And I'm Piperlyne. Thank you for joining us at In My